Here's the progressive news headlines for today, Tuesday, October 6th. I always have to look over here at my little computer clock to make sure I know exactly what day it is. By the way, don't forget, before we get into this newscast, to request your absentee ballot. You can do that at a website, unt.blue/ballot, unt.blue/ballot. It's very important to go out and do that right now. Very, very important, right? Quasi Spec from our Twitch page, hello, says, what month is it now? Yeah, well, it's October. I don't know if you know this, Messiah, but I think the video went down on Twitch. So, because that's what I'm seeing over here. If you're not seeing that, that's cool, but I'm seeing it. So we're going to go for it with the news headlines because that's what we do here. Here are the headlines for our Tuesday, October the 6th. I hope you're holding on to your hats, people. Donald Trump is taking advice of the profit-driven pharmaceutical corporations over the advice of his own public health agencies and experts. What could go wrong? Trump is blocking the Food and Drug Administration from imposing tougher safety requirements on the authorization of a corona vaccine. You see drug company executives privately voice some disapproval with the push for the stricter standards. Politico is reporting that the White House's decision to halt the release of the new standards for the emergency authorization of the COVID-19 vaccine came after officials close to Trump told the FDA that pharmaceutical industry folks had objected to tougher requirements. Because then they're going to have to, make sure these freaking vaccines that are coming out in 5 minutes are safe. You can go to accountable.us to join the fight against corruption in our public health system. And there's a lot of work to do on that. So again, that website is it's accountable.us. Moving along to other things that we don't like. The Bader-Ginsburg-less U.S. Supreme Court has revived a South Carolina law requiring that absentee ballots contain a witness signature. The measure is a Republican-passed mandate that could increase voters' exposure to that little harmless flu thing called the coronavirus that is killing everyone. No justices were listed as dissenting from the ruling, and right-wing Justice Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch said that they would have tossed out every ballot without a witness signature, including those that people have already sent before the revival of this mandate. Is that the just system? I think not. The African American Policy Forum said the effect is clear. The Supreme Court is enabling state voter suppression tactics. There's a place you can go to fight this. Fairfight.com is where to go to join the fight against voter suppression there. What I have up on the screen next to me is a tweet from Ari Berman. It begins. SCOTUS reinstates South Carolina witness signature requirement for mail-in ballots, which is obviously an insane restriction because you have to get close to somebody so that they can witness it. And we have a pandemic and you're supposed to be doing social distancing. Anyway, Mother Jones has an article out, 29 ways the GOP is making it harder to vote. We have Greg Palast scheduled to come on our program next week to discuss what is going on there. So stay tuned here with us on act.tv. In other news, Trump put this tweet out. I will be leaving the Great Walter Reed Medical Center today at 6:30 p.m. feeling really good because I'm jacked up on steroids. Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let it dominate your life. Just maybe the fact that someone in your family died and you have emotional process to go through, or maybe that you don't have a job now. Maybe those things that are dominating your life. Trump says we have developed under the Trump administration some really great drugs and knowledge. He feels better than he did 20 years ago. If only I knew what Trump was doing 20 years ago. I'm guessing it wasn't great. Okay, we just want to keep in mind that these statements elicited a flood of criticisms from observers who said the president could be sending a deadly message after being afforded the kind of healthcare treatment that more than 200 109,000 Americans who died from COVID-19 were unable to access. Indivisible's executive director, Leah Greenberg, responded saying, "Don't be afraid of COVID is a disgustingly irresponsible message for anyone to send. That message is going to influence so many people and lead to so many more unnecessary deaths." What can you do? I mean, if people aren't going to listen, they're going to die. I don't know. I don't know what else there is to do. It's unfortunate that so many people are, going to have to die that do listen and that do wear their masks and that do try to do social distancing. But because of the situation that they or we are in as a country, they still have to be out in the world working, making money, etc., getting their lives to move forward. Anyway, Bernie Sanders has been stumping for Biden. Did you see this? With a consistent message that we need to create an economy and a government that works for all of us, not just the 1% and wealthy campaign contributors. Sanders is calling for voters in swing states to back his former primary rivals as the country continues to grapple with the coronavirus pandemic, the resulting economic fallout, and what many critics have called an inadequate response, let's say, from the Trump administration and Congress. This isn't just critics. Like, let's look at the other countries. Germany has a 6% joblessness rate right now. Before the pandemic, they had a 5% joblessness rate because they dealt with it properly. And now their society is opened up. It didn't have to be this way. I think that's important to remember. Sanders says he rejects the argument that we have got to make a choice between having a strong economy and protecting the American people from this terrible disease. We've got a clip right here of Bernie. Let's do it. Oops, there we go.
There are some who say that we have got to make a choice between having a strong economy and protecting the American people from this terrible disease. I disagree. The truth is that we will never have a strong economy so long as this terrible pandemic continues to surge as it is today. We will never have a strong economy if people are afraid to go to work, afraid to go to school, afraid to shop, afraid to go to a restaurant, or afraid to do all of the things that we have always done throughout our lives. We will never have a strong economy unless we get this pandemic under control.
I love how he's focusing on the fear. It's not just that the mall has to be opened up. It's that people have to be unafraid to go and to continue their life. In our final story for today, a coalition of progressive groups is launching a new campaign to highlight the country's utterly rigged tax system, epitomized by President Donald Trump's recently revealed financial records. The campaign, dubbed We Paid More, aims to show that everyday Americans have paid far more in federal income taxes over the past several years than the president. It's led by Tax March, with partners including Public Citizen, Patriotic Millionaires, and Indivisible. You can go and share your story of when you paid more in federal income taxes than Trump at www.wepaidmore.org. I'm Julianna Forlano. You're watching Act TV. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the like button, and come back tomorrow because we'll be doing this again.